Well,
rugby man.
I certainly know all about Munster and Paul O'Connell and things like that, but we're not here to talk rugby union. We're here to talk about a really good fight. All the fighters are here. We're going to hear from them in the press conference in just a moment's time. But as a pure boxing event, this one is huge. Over 30,000 people will be here September the 19th.
Fantastic. Fans here in Ireland, every time we come here, they're so knowledgeable. And this place with 30,000, just looking at the stadium this morning, it gives you goosebumps, Jim. I can't wait to be here in September for what will be a magnificent fight. And, of course, Britain-Ireland sporting rivalry kicks off again.
And let's just talk about the two fighters before we hear from them. First of all, the champion, Andy Lee, and a real homecoming for him. And he's going to come back, and it's a bit of a dream of his. He's going to defend his world title back in Limerick.
And it's well deserved for him. He deserves it. You know, he's been on the road a long time. I mean, it's amazing. I remember, I think about a fight of his on BoxNation about 14 months ago against Frank Horosh-Horta, and he just about scraped a majority decision there. Since then, he's come back from nowhere against John Jackson. He was a punch away from the defeat. He then upset Matt Koroboff in one of the upsets of last year in December. And then, of course, Peter Quillen, he got off the floor yet again to get a draw he deserved in a fantastic fight. And, you know, you can never ride him out. So often we've seen him be behind on points in fight, and suddenly he's equalised with that right hand. Has made it a level playing field, and he's gone on one fight.
And Billy Joe Saunders, the unbeaten challenger. It's fair to say Billy Joe has waited a long, long time for a night like this one.
Oh, we were talking earlier on about it. Ever since he was a boy when he first walked in the gym at 7 or 8. And you know what we were saying? How many fighters have won Southern Area, British, European, Commonwealth, and then gone on to world titles? Very, very few. We were trying to look earlier on, and you know it's a struggle to find them. But fantastic for him, and it shows how he's willing to come in Andy's backyard and he'll fancy his chances. You know, what's incredible, this is Billy Joe's 10th consecutive 12-rounder he's trained for. He's had 6 times he's been the distance in those, whereas Andy's only been the 12-round distance once, even though he's boxed 100 rounds more. It's been a fantastic sporting occasion and a fantastic fight that will live up to every bit of hype. It doesn't need much hype, it's that good a match.
And historically, it is going to be the first time two fighters with travelling backgrounds fight for a world title, and there'll be a contest on its own out there with because Billy Joe telling us he's going to bring a load over here. He's not going to be the away fighter particularly.
I mean, the noise on that pitch is going to be incredible that night with the travelling community from England and Ireland. You know, it's going to be an amazing night. You know, the atmosphere will be a cauldron of noise out there.
We will look forward to it. Okay, well, I will leave you here on BoxNation for the moment, and I will be right back with you because I'm just going to pop a few steps there to host the press conference, and I will see you very shortly.
Thanks to the line.
Welcome to Thomond Park. My name is Jim Rosenthal, and it's a great pleasure for me to be sitting up here to host the official confirmation, really, that the showdown will take place here on September the 19th. Let me just introduce the characters at the top table up here. Far right, we have John Cantwell, who is the stadium director. Welcome, John. Alongside him, Adam Booth, promoter, manager, and trainer of this fella here, Andy Lee, the WBO middleweight champion, a homecoming for you, Andy, that I'm sure you'll want to talk about in a moment. Billy Joe Saunders alongside me, the unbeaten challenger. He's won just about every belt there is except for one, and he wants to put that one right on September the 19th. And at the far post we have over there George Warren, CEO, BoxNation and Queensberry. Let's start with you, John, first of all. I believe I'm right in saying the first time you've had boxing here, you've had one or two, or you've had, obviously we know all about the rugby. I think you've had a bit of Elton John and you've had a bit of Rod Stewart and one or two others, haven't you? But the first time you're going to get a ring at Thomond Park. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely delighted, Jim. We've had a few scraps on the pitch, all right, but unofficially, a few boxes thrown. But we're absolutely thrilled that Andy is going to defend his title at Thomond Park, a hometown boy, you know, fighting in the home of legends, the home of the brave and faithful. I think it's a dream come true for Andy, but for us as well. And I'm sure Limerick are going to come out in their thousands to shout him home.
Give us a little indication of how things might look on that night in September. You're going to lay on great weather for us, aren't you? I know that.
Absolutely. The rain will be coming in sideways as normal. And there should be a good wind behind it. But hey, you know what? These guys are big, strong guys, and I don't think that's going to affect them. For the customers, it's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime, not to be missed occasion. Thomond Park for a rugby match when it's full is an atmosphere second to none. So for a boxing match with an extra 7,000 on the pitch, you know, I think it's just going to be unique and, as I said, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to attend.
And would you anticipate 30,000 plus on the night, John, or are we being too ambitious there?
No, you know, what we've done is, you know, we've done our figures based on 30 plus, 34,000. And that's what we expect to get. You know, it's, as I said, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Andy is a great champion. He's beaten Billy Joe, a great challenger. I think it's a very special matchup. It's a special event. It's the biggest fight in Irish boxing history. It has a lot going for it. So, you know, we're just grateful to that Limerick together, including the council and, you know, all the stakeholders here got together, including Adam and Andy, and made it happen.
Okay, John, thank you very much indeed. I know you will do us proud on the night. Adam, how proud are you to be part of this whole event, be a major player in this whole event? And what do you believe your man's chances are on the night?
It's the last 3 years working with Andy has been an incredible journey. When you look at how things were 3 years ago, and you look at where he's at now, and to have won the world title in the style that he did against Korobov in December was a very special moment. But this, I think, is going to eclipse that beyond recognition. What you have here is a genuine number one challenger in Billy Joe Saunders. He's proven his mettle. He's proven his worth. He was the manager for Korobov. We all made an agreement that Andy would take that challenge and that they would meet down the line. And we worked with George and Frank. We put this together in Thomond Park to give Andy the special one-off occasion that his career deserves. As an Olympian, as an incredible professional who's effectively seen everything there is to see in a ring. He's seen every style. He's experienced every single possible scenario. And here we are in 2015, and he's come out on top. And that, for me, is it's an exciting thing to be part of. And now to be involved in promoting and coaching with Andy this event at Thomond Park, not just for Limerick and Munster, but for the whole of Ireland. This is a unique event, and I'm just thrilled. And I've been fortunate enough to be involved in some big events over the years, but this one, I think, will certainly give me goosebumps, probably more than anything else.
Promoter, manager and trainer, I know, but also a massive student of the game of boxing. Just compare and contrast the two fighters for us, could you, without a hint of bias, if you would?
And without a hint of hint either. No, is the answer to your question. I won't do that now. What I've said is what I believe, that Andy is a champion who has seen everything there is to see in a ring and has come out on top. And he's at the top of his career, and he's absolutely flying both technically, mentally, and emotionally. Billy Joe Saunders is an unbeaten mandatory challenger, deservedly so. Had a fantastic win against Chris Eubank Jr., which was a hard fight, and proved his mettle in that fight. So Thomond Park, which the slogan is stand up and fight, and you're going to get two guys on this night who will stand up and give the event the fight that it does deserve.
Okay, Adam, thank you very much indeed. Andy, let's come to you. First of all, deep down, just tell us all what it means for you to be coming home and to get the chance to defend a world title on your home patch.
Well, I would have drove past the stadium and been to matches here countless times, and I always dreamed of fighting here. And as soon as I won the world title in December, my thoughts immediately turned to defending here in Thomond Park. And this will be my first defence. And like I said, this is a global event which will be seen all over the world. And for me, I'm very proud to do that, to put Limerick on that stage, and to bring an event like this here to my city it means a lot to me. It's an honour, really, and it goes some way to repaying all the support that, the people of Limerick have supported me since I was an amateur, so this will go some way to paying that back. And like I said, I'm fighting one of the best middleweights in the world. He's British champion, European champion, Commonwealth champion, and undefeated, and #1 contender for a long time, and waiting his time, and he's going to be coming in with a spirited challenge, and I'm going to be doing everything I can to hold on to my belt. So this will be a fantastic event for me and for Limerick and for Billy Joe, and we're going to put on a great show here in Town Park.
Was it always a dream of yours while you were campaigning around the world that one day you would come back home and have a massive fight here?
Yeah, I've said it since I turned pro. The dream would be to step off the plane at Shannon with the belt, and I did that in December, and people here put on a great homecoming for me. And now this is it. This is the natural progression to fight here in Town Park. It's by far one of the best facilities in Ireland. I'm lucky that it's in my hometown, and they've been very accommodating. I'd like to thank everybody at Town Park for working with us, and to John Hill and Almina Clark, and for working behind the scenes with Dave McHugh, and putting together this event, and also Queensbury Promotions, Frank Warren, and all those guys for their willingness to come here. And Billy Joe, it takes a lot to come. I know, I've done it myself. He's coming into my hometown, and I've been doing that all my career. So yeah, this, like I said, I can't say it enough. This is going to be a very special night for me, and I expect a big crowd and the people to come out and support it.
I've sat between one or two boxers in similar scenarios, and it's got a little bit lively, but this has been very considered so far, but very measured. Do you think that is because of the respect that you have for Billy Joe, and do you think that things might change down the line?
Well, we're still like 10 weeks from the fight, so who knows? But listen, how can I not respect him? He's undefeated. He hasn't ever. And he's an Olympian as well. So I know what it takes to go through all those things. I've been there myself, and this is going to be. It's going to be a hard fight. He's going to take a lot of beating. What I see is his strength, is his will, his strength, is his passion, and how much he wants to win a fight, and that's going to take a lot of beating, and it's going to be a very hard fight. This is not like a hand-picked fighter that we've chose to come over here and have my first defense against. This is a fight that was mandated. If I didn't choose to fight Billy Joe, I would have been stripped of my title. So this is a real fight, and we're going to give everybody a good show.
Just a final one from you for the moment. You've had a couple of defeats on your record. Billy Joe has still got the O, hasn't he? But I read somewhere that you said that those defeats actually have made you come back even stronger.
Of course, it takes a lot for a man to come from behind and come from defeat and rise and then go on to become world champion. If anything, it's made me stronger. I know how much it hurts to lose, and I never want to taste that again. So I've been armoured by my defeats.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Let's come to you, Billy Joe. When we arrived here in the taxi from Shannon, there was a bit of a wow factor from you when you saw where you're going to be showing your skills on September the 19th.
To be honest with you, as soon as I pulled up to the place and looked at it, and it was just a dream come true, to be honest with you. Everybody wants home advantage, but, he's the champion. So the champion gets what he wants. And I think he deserves an homecoming, to be fair. He's a good champion. He's been to America a few times and caused some big upsets. So I think it's about time that, you give Ireland back a little bit and, bringing this very good fight here. A lot of fights need building up and talking about, and, all the trash talk needs. But I think this fight here, there's something in this fight that it don't need none of that. I've got a lot of respect for Andy. Good champion, like I said. Nothing against him. I just want his belt. But yeah, this fight here don't need talking up. You've got two proud travelling men going out there, and he's doing it for his country, and I'm doing it for mine. And not only that, it's a mixture of there. I believe he's from England himself, a few of his family, so we'll have mixed fans coming in from all over. I've got Irish fans, he's got English fans, so it's one of them that the fans are definitely going to win on this fight. And I can guarantee one thing, that me and Andy is going to leave nothing in that ring. We're going to put it all in that fight, definitely.
You don't then consider yourself the traditional away fighter here?
Obviously, I'm in his backyard, so all he supports here. But do you know what? When you pull up to a place and you first get a feeling, you know, I've been to stadiums before and places where I think, you know, you get that funny feeling. But as soon as I walked in here, I got like a homely feeling straight away. You know, your name on the dressing rooms and something like that. It's nice. I've been greeted by nice people here. And I've been to Ireland. I've boxed out in Ireland now 7 times. And 7 wins. So hopefully I can keep it going. But as I say, Andy's a good champion. And it's going to be a very, very good fight.
And this is going to be the night that you've been waiting for your whole career.
Yeah, I mean, I think in boxing, you have to do what's financially right for you, you know, for your family and things. And, you know, I stepped aside first for the Korobov fight. And, you know, Andy went and grabbed it with both hands, and fair play to him. You know, the underdog, he won. Then also, you know, he got that draw against Peter Quillen. And, you know, I thought he could have nicked the fight. So I think that, you know, he's a deservable champion, but it's going to take a lot to change hands, that belt, but I'm willing to give it all.
Adam was keeping his powder dry. You might want to as well, but could you give us all some indication of what you bring to the ring that Andy doesn't?
Do you know what? Listen, Andy's the same as me. He's Olympian, and he's world champion, something that I'm yet not. But I think with me and Andy is that we both can adapt well. And no matter what trainers we got, what we do is, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to art and determination and grit, this fight. And I think that's what the fans are in for a treat for.
Good. Excellent, Billy Joe. Let's have a word with George. George, how proud are you, CEO, BoxNation and Queensbury, how proud are you to be putting on an event of this magnitude?
Very proud. It's fantastic to be here. All credit to Thomond Park, and if I'm getting the pronunciation right, I've heard between the 4 of you about 5 different variations of how you say the stadium's name, so apologies. But between the stadium and Adam, they've put together a package where it made financial sense, and at the end of the day, as Bill says, this is a business that we're all involved in. Both these boxers, they're champions, and they deserve to be maximising their earning potentials, and the decision to come here and do the co-promotion was justified, and we're looking forward to it.
It's a big capacity, over 30,000, and I'll let you know where and when you get all the tickets in just a moment. But in many ways, is this something of a promoter's dream, this one, in that listening to both fighters, listening to Adam up here, it almost sells itself, this one?
Of course it does. There is no need for the animosity that you sometimes get with when specific fighters get together, and Billy himself has been involved in that in previous fights, as I'm sure Andy has. But they're a credit to the sport. They're a credit to themselves and to each other, in the fact that they've said all that they need to say. They're going to leave it all on the line in the ring. That's where the talking needs to be done, and everyone can sit back, hopefully, and as a boxing fan, watch one of the best fights we're going to see for a very long time. I really do believe that.
Let me just tell you a little bit about the details on the night. Live and exclusive on BoxNation. Tickets for the Irish public via ticketmaster.ie/showdown, calling this one the Showdown. And UK fight fans can get tickets through Eventim. And, of course, there will be another press conference in London next Monday. Let's throw this open to all of you out there. If you could raise your hand if you want to ask anybody up here a question, and just identify who you are, and we'll get a microphone to you. And we've got our first question just down there, sir.
Gentlemen, welcome. Andy, Paul Byrne, TV3 News. Can I ask you, I know you said it's a dream come true. Looking around, you can see some of the young fighters, some of the many people that you sparred with growing up. But going out there on September 19th, home advantage, albeit, will there be a sense of nervousness there? The fact that you're here, you know, you owe it to yourself maybe, but do you owe it to the people to bring for victory? Will home advantage be an advantage or disadvantage at the end of the day, really?
Well, fighting at home brings its own pressures. You know, when you're away from home, you kind of have that bunker mentality. Yeah. But being at home, you know, there's pressure of expectation, and obviously sometimes a lot of media obligation as well. But you know, if you could have the choice of fighting away or fighting at home, you're always going to pick home. And especially what I anticipate a very hard fight. The crowd could be the difference, especially in the later rounds, to give me that extra spur. And like I said, like you said, there's a lot of familiar faces here, people who've come with me for this journey. A lot of them have been here from the start, and like this is a way to repay them and give them like some of the fighters, give them a chance to fight on the undercard and make their mark in the boxing game. So yeah, I'm like, this is a great event for me, and I'm getting a lot out of it. But it also is a chance to give a little back to Limerick and to the boxing community in Ireland.
Thank you, Andy. Next question. If you just raise your hand if you want to ask. I've been told that all you Irish journalists are really lively. Can't stop asking questions. But anyone else want to ask a question to any of the guys up here? Here we go. Let's get the microphone to you.
I'll just shout.
Go on, shout it out then. Let us know who you are.
Billy Joe, welcome. I believe you've beaten 2 Irishmen in your professional career so far, Tom Tolan and Gary Spike O'Sullivan. And you've said before them that you'd never lose to an Irishman.
Yeah, I see this one on Twitter the other day. No, when me and Spike boxed each other, he said something about there's no Englishman or something he said to me before at a press conference. So I said the same back to him. But listen, there's a man out there to beat every man. But I just believe that this ain't the man to beat me.
What do you think will be the winning of the fight? I know you said heart, grit and determination, but surely some sort of tactical way to beat Andy Lee. What have you seen from the examination you've made?
To be honest with you, I'm not prepared to sit around this table and talk about it the same as I don't think they are. But I've seen things, and I'm sure he's seen things of me. But listen, me and Andy are very skilled fighters. Very skilled. We're both Olympians. So that pedigree is grounded into us. So you're going to see one thing, and that's definitely skill.
Thank you very much. There was another hand that went up here a moment ago. There we go. We'll just get a microphone to you. And if you could let us know who you are, that would be great.
Kaylee from Fusion Magazine. Hi, Andy. A lot of people in this room would consider you a role model. How does that make you feel? And did you have role models as you were kind of coming through? And how does it feel that you are in that position now for many people here?
I don't know if I guess I kind of am in that role once I became world champion. And it's good for young guys to have, for kids to have positive role models, especially in sport. My older brothers were my role models. They both fought, and I just wanted to be like them, So, yeah, I think there'll be children. This is like I said, when there's never been a world title fight in Limerick before, and the last time there was an outdoor fight, and it was 20 years ago, and before that was Muhammad Ali in 1972. So. This is a once-in-a-generation event, and the ticket prices that we made, and I intentionally, I think the cheapest ticket is €30, and I think that's affordable for everybody. I wanted that. I made sure that was so people can come and people can bring their kids and their families to this, and they'll remember this when they're grown up, and it'll inspire, hopefully, if I can become world champion and fight out there in the stadium, then any kid from Limerick can do it, because what difference did they to me, So that was a big part of having the fight here. So it's a historical event, and it'll be something special for everybody.
Thank you, Andy. Well done. Any more questions from out there? Just down here. On you go, sir.
Andy, I was just wondering, in terms of experience and level of opponents you've fought, do you think that'll stand to you if you take Korobov versus Eubanks Jr. and Quinlan? And were you surprised you got the Korobov fight that Billy passed up a world title shot?
No, I think, the way the situation worked out, he was contracted to fight Chris Eubank at the time. And there was an opportunity for Adam to work with Frank Warren, and then we got in there, And it's just the way that fate had it, But like I said, I've been fighting, and my last 3, you can just look at my last 3 opponents, all undefeated top contenders, So I've been fighting at a high level for a long time, and Billy Joe's been fighting at a high. Like I said, this all just adds up to a great fight between two. Like Billy Joe's, we're both in the top 10 of the Ring magazine, so this is not a fairy tale fight. If people just trying to realize that this is a significant fight in world boxing, not just in Ireland, England. This is a world fight, and the people will be watching this all over the world. So it's as big as it gets.
Yep, over there.
Hi, Karen Brosnahan. I'm with the Shannon Region Conference and Sports Bureau. So it's more of a comment other than a question. I'd firstly like to commend Andy and Adam on bringing the showdown to Limerick, and John Cantwell on making Thomond Park and the facilities here available. I think, Andy, you're a true sports ambassador. You epitomise what all of us are trying to do, which is to get people in Limerick to be Limerick and proud. And I think it's fantastic to have an event of this calibre happen in Limerick. If I could just say to Billy Joe, we can't guarantee you a win, but what we can guarantee is an amazing welcome from the people of Limerick. And I think from the moment people step through Shannon Airport, right coming into the heart of the city, people will see that this is a really proud city, proud of its heritage. It's a cultural city. Last year it was Ireland's first national city of culture. We've previously been a European capital of sport. And I think going forward, people can only expect a huge welcome for you and all of your fans. As I said, we can't guarantee a win. We'll all be rooting for Andy on the night. So fair play, guys.
Can you repeat that again?
There probably was a question in there somewhere. It's probably me. I probably missed it, but there we go. But you're going to get a nice welcome here, I think.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
George Alexander, could I just ask, how much is the prize purse worth? How much is how much money is the $5?
A tenner. That's what I'm getting told anyway.
You'll probably get. I mean, George, would you care to give an estimation on the total value of the fight, or you probably?
No, not off the top of my head. I mean, Andy's touched on the ticket prices. We're hoping for 34,000 people here. We're obviously hoping for everyone over in Ireland and the UK to tune in and subscribe or to buy it on pay-per-view via BoxNation. So if it's successful, it's successful. If it's not, it's not. But we're here and we hope it will be.
Good stuff.
A question to Adam. First, best of luck to both guys on the night. Obviously rooting for Andy. The undercard, is there any indication, not for myself, but just the undercard? I'll pull the stunt here now, yeah?
No. The first thing we've got to do is there's been a lot of work that's gone into getting this event put together. And once we settle down in the next couple of weeks, we'll start to piece together the undercard.
You have my details, yeah?
That was Michael Sweeney asking you that question. You should really have identified yourself there. Anyone else to go? I know. Here we go. Let us know who you are.
Gavin Casey with Balls.ie. A question for both fighters, just based on the pattern of recent fights we've seen. Andy, yourself maybe fall slightly behind on cards early and come back into the fight in the middle rounds. We've seen Billy Joe, yourself, against the likes of John Ryder and Chris Eubank, where you've taken a lead early and then maybe not allowed opposition to claw it back, but it has transpired that way. Does that come into either fighter's preparation ahead of this one? The areas in the fight where both fighters come on strong.
Yeah, I think that, I'm not being big-headed about myself and that, but the opposition that I've boxed, I would probably say that is not as up to Andy's class. And before every fight, I've had 21 fights, and I don't want to keep blowing my own trumpet, but before every 21, I knew that if I just do enough, just to train, I'll get by and win. This is what I've been dreaming for. This is what has lit something inside of me that I want bad. And I believe that that's not going to be a problem this time. Definitely not.
What about yourself, Andy? Would it come into your preparation?
Obviously, you never set out to be trailing in the early rounds. But like I said, you find your way in the fight, and just the way the fight unfolds. But like I said, I believe Billy Joe will train harder than ever this fight and won't have those issues in the last few rounds. But when you're fighting like Eubank and Ryder, they're very well conditioned fighters, and they intend to come on strong, and that's how they fight. For me, I'll box. All I'm going to try and intend to box is fight all the way through. But I know I have a punch that if ever I'm behind in a fight, through my experiences, I'll know that at some stage, if I land the right punch, I can end the fight at any time. But obviously, I'll be looking to box and win the fight from the first round. We're going to be training in Surrey, south of London. I'm sure we'll be here maybe 10 days before the fight. Training. I'm not sure where we'll base ourselves, but we'll be here in Limerick.
And in relation to Billy, because yourself, what's your record
Touchwood, I haven't been beat by one yet. But no, I think it's I've boxed all around the world as amateur, and probably these European fighters are all southpaws. Sparring all my life, I deal well southpaws. I think that it's just when you've had that experience in with them, I think it comes natural. But obviously we know that competing is different, and I should think I'll be right on the night. Well, I hope I am anyway.
Just a couple more, and then we'll wrap it up. Yes, on you go.
Just a question for Andy, and possibly Adam as well. Andy, in a guest column for Boxing News, you made quite a bold prediction that you'd knock out Billy Joe in 4 or 5 rounds. It's not really customary, maybe, to hear you say.
Yeah, I have to say that it was a misquote almost. What I was saying that I would find a punch at some stage in the fight, and that I would come on strong after 4 or 5 rounds. And the headline was, "I'll knock him out in 4 or 5." That was totally, that's out of character with me, and it's nothing that I stand by.
Did you see that piece, Billy Joe, where Andy said he'd knock you out in 4 or 5 rounds, and what was your reaction to that?
To be honest with you, someone said something about it, but I think that boxing's boxing. If you're going to say that if you're a fighter, you're going to say you're going to knock this out, but no one ever can tell on boxing till on the night. It's all about on the night, same with everything.
So this ain't Tiddlywinks. We're here. He's going to come and try and knock me out.
Listen,
if I can do the same. We both know that. We both understand that. It's not. There's no after the fight we'll shake hands, and before the fight we'll probably shake hands again. But we're going when that bell rings, we're going in there to take each other's heads off. There's not make no mistake about it. This is a fight, and this is as close as it gets to warfare, really. So and that's how you prepare. Adam would be known as one of the I consider the best trainer in the world, and a strategic master. And Mark Tibbs and Jimmy Tibbs have a wealth of experience and have trained so many, more champions than you can remember. This is a big fight, and there's so many ingredients in this fight to make the chemistry of the fight so good. So believe it, this is going to be warfare when we get in there.
We'll have one more.
Hey lads, Kieran Gallagher from the Irish Daily Mail. Adam, just have a question for you there. It was mentioned about Andy's recent fights, probably his 3 most recent fights, that he's had to come from behind, even as close as the Carbo fight was. Many perceived him to be trailing in that. He's obviously a very composed figure most of the time, but this is going to be an emotional fight for him, and he has a lot invested in it. Are you worried, or do you have to work with him mental in terms of keeping him composed and maybe not losing the game plan and maybe trying to go out and impress the fans or get too caught up in the emotion of the night? I know it's a few months away now from the fight itself, but even in the build-up in a press conference like today, obviously there's a lot of emotional investment and kind of getting caught up in how much the fight means to him.
I think of all the people that I've worked with or intend to work with, I think Andy will probably be the easiest one to deal with that potential problem of emotions and getting carried away. He's got so much experience and so much wisdom. And it's one thing having experience and wisdom, it's another thing being able to use it to your advantage, and that's the one thing that Andy does. He can process what he knows and what he has inside and apply it to himself for his own benefit. So no, I don't have a problem. And in answer to the question of him falling behind in his last 3 fights, I always say watch the fights with the volume turned down, and then you'll probably get a truer reflection of what's going on. The Korobov fight went exactly how we planned it to be. And I scored it 3-2 going into the 6th round. The Peter Quinlan fight is just one of those shots that can happen. Mickey Duff used to always say, anything can happen in the first round, and you have to be prepared for anything in the first round because it takes that round for the fight to settle down. And this is going to be an incredible atmosphere. And in that first round, the one thing that we'll be training for is to be ready for any situation and to look for that shot that will take control of the fight from the first bell. And I know that Billy Joe is going to bring it. I know he's going to train to bring it. And I'm getting excited talking about the fight now, and it's a shame because I've got to work on the night, so I can't just sit and enjoy it. But I expect nothing less than Andy than a professional performance of a classy world champion.
Thank you very much indeed, Adam. I'd like to thank everybody on the top table. Thank John, Adam, Andy, Billy Joe, of course, and George. All will be available for your individual requests in just a moment. Thank you very much for your fantastic attendance here. So, yeah, they probably are worth a round of applause. They've done you proud. Well done. Thanks very much for coming. And I've got to have to pop down there to join my colleague Steve Lillis to go to continue our live coverage on BoxNation.com. But thanks for coming. Thanks for your enthusiasm. And we all can't wait for that showdown. Thanks a lot. And we move down to our little BoxNation corner here at Thomond Park. Billy Joe's come straight over to join us. Billy, overall impressions up there? I mean, that's a lovely, warm, friendly Irish welcome, isn't it? Probably slightly different to what you might get on September the 19th.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there may be welcomes that have come here. Obviously, Andy's their champion, so they're all backing him. But, you know, boxing's boxing. It's about two people going there, putting everything on the line, and the deservable winner come out.
Are you pleased that quote has been rectified a bit? Because I must admit, it raised my eyes, and I'm sure you found it a bit surprising that someone like Andy would say he's going to knock you out in 5 rounds. That's out of character.
Well, no, I mean, I take that as a pinch of salt, but also I take it as, you know, he's never said that before. He's saying it now. Is he worried? You know, but, you know, he's rectified it. He didn't say it. But, you know, like you said, we're in boxing. We're going to say that. I've said it before. I'm going to knock you out and I'm going to do this and do that. But, you know, when it comes down to it, you just want to get the winning. And whether it's knockout or points, you don't care. I don't care anyway.
And again, if you could just talk a little bit more about what it means to you, this fight. And I was really interested up there when you said, all my fights, I've looked at someone and thought, I can beat you. Yeah. This one is slightly different.
Well, this is the dream now. I mean, every fight I've had is leading up to it where I know my ability's got me through. Well, I know that, you know, if I want to play about someone in a round, I can have a round off. This, from round 1, from the second that first bout goes to the last or to whenever it ends, I will be on the ball. And I will be bringing a performance that I've never brought before.
Steve?
Andy was saying that he's got the right hand to knock you out any time. Do you think he's got the power to hurt you at all?
Well, listen, Andy's proved that, you know, he's got the punch. You know, he stopped Peter Quillin, but it wasn't really a bad knockout, was it? He was out on his feet and the referee stopped it. That's Korobov. One thing I got a very good chin, and I think you're going to need more than that right hand to knock me out.
But it's also, how often can he keep coming from behind, do you think, to winning fights with his right hand? We even saw it early in his career against Craig McEwen, didn't we? Yeah. And then, of course, the John Jackson fight as well.
Well, listen, the way you look at it, take Andy Lee's right hook away, he's lost his last 3 fights. But you can't take that away. You know, when someone's on top of someone and they're getting careless, you're open to get hit. John Jackson was all over him, got careless, got caught. Peter Quillin was not doing what he wanted, but was in front, got caught, and that turned the fight around. So, you know, there's one thing you can't do with Andy Lee, and that's get careless. And this is my chance to fulfil my dream, and I will definitely not be getting careless.
Can I just ask you one other thing about what this one means to the travelling communities? Just talk to us a little bit about that whole scene.
We're two travelling people, me and Andy Lee. This is for bragging rights, you know. I think none of us want to lose this fight. Not one of us want to lose this fight. I'm not putting no pressure on myself by saying, I'm going to go in there, definitely win. I'm going to go in there and give it my best, and I know my best is good enough to beat anybody. And I know I'll become a rider of that title. There's no better feeling than going to someone's backyard and taking it off them.
And looking at you now, you're in pretty good shape. I would think you'd almost make the weight now, couldn't you? But you've got one coming up Friday week at Wembley, haven't you?
I've got one coming up Friday week. Yeah, I'm in good shape. I've been in the gym now, like I said, 5 weeks, probably just over. I can't keep track of the gym time. I'm so excited thinking about it, to be fair. I said 3 weeks earlier on. I thought I've been in more than 3 weeks. Yeah, so I'm getting ready for that. It's hard for me to get real excited about this fight yet because I've got a little warm-up first. But it's boxing. Anything can happen, you know. It's one punch. So I just want to get this one out of the way, then my head's focused on the big one.
And just a final one. Sitting next to you, I noticed you had a little look at the belt there. You reckon next time you come back here, you might be hopping back to Shannon Airport with that belt?
Well, I was looking at it and I was thinking, when I beat him, am I taking that belt? But then I thought they got to issue me a new one because he still keeps these. Yeah. So I've already thought about that.
Well, you're a step ahead of me as always. Billy Joe, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
And don't get careless next Friday.
Yeah, we'll see you Friday week. Well, Steve, Andy's going to come straight in and join us. Well done, Andy.
Hello, Andy. Good to see you.
Andy, I have to say, having been to 1 or 2 of these, and Steve has been to a few as well, that has to be one of the friendliest pre-fight press conferences they've ever been in.
Oh, like myself and Billy Joe know each other well before this fight, and after this fight we'll see each other regularly. But yeah, the fight doesn't need any false hyping. We both know what's on the line. More so, that's not evident. The pride between both of us, that's on the line, and we'll show it in the ring, and we'll shake hands afterwards.
Do you believe, though, or everyone was slightly coy up there, that one thing that you have got over Billy Joe is the power in that right hand?
Yeah, I can throw a punch with either hand, I believe. If I land at the right time, I think, 12 rounds is a long time. To be in the ring with me for 12 rounds, you're going to get hit. And if I land the right punch at the right time, I can knock anybody out. And we'll see. Hopefully I don't have to depend on that. I can box and keep him behind on the scorecards and make him get desperate. But if I have to get in the trenches and bang him, I'll bang him, yeah.
It's going to be a heck of an event, and a lot of people out there will be rushing to get tickets after they've seen all this on BoxNation.com. But I'm interested in what you said up there about you want everybody here. You want to keep those ticket prices affordable.
Yeah, it was a big... you guys might not be aware of this, but, I've been boxing in Limerick since I was a teenager, and they've always supported me with sponsorships, newspapers, media, and they've given me a lot of encouragement. And when I've had hard fights, I've been away fighting in Bosnia or Cuba, people in Limerick have been sending me messages. So it means a lot to me to pay them back now. And this will be a big boost for the economy here in Limerick. People are going to be travelling, booking out hotels and things like that, and spend a lot of money in the bars and restaurants. So it's great to give it back.
You know what amazed me about you? When you fought Frank Horta last year, this sort of night must have been a million miles away, let alone just over a year. How did you get it back on track after what I'm sure you agree wasn't one of your best performances by any stretch?
Well, it was just a bad night, but I know what happened in the build-up to the fight, and he's a very hard fighter. So people who would have seen that fight would have written me off. But it can happen. You can have bad nights. And at that stage in my career, things were really going slow. Adam had to pay for that fight. He had to pay Frank Horta's purse and my purse, and we couldn't get the fight anywhere. Got offered a fight with John Jackson, who was a very dangerous fighter, and there wasn't a big purse in it, and I could have lost the fight easy, and I got dropped in the first round. But that was a chance I took, and it paid off, and from there I've been in the ascendancy ever since. The fight with Carball came about, I took that chance, and then the fight with Quillen came about, and then that was a hard fight. But it's been an amazing turnaround in my career to be here. I'm co-promoting the fight almost, myself and Adam, as along with Frank Warren. I'm world champion and fighting in a stadium in my hometown. That's a million miles away from fighting Frank Horta in Esbjerg, Denmark, in the middle of a small hall and having life and death and getting a majority decision win. So it's been an amazing turnaround.
The point I'm making is also what Adam's done for you in your career.
Listen,
Since obviously Manny Stewart did fantastic with you. It can never be understated.
This turnaround and this event, this Indian summer of my career and my life has been down to Adam and us coming together and our relationship bonding in the gym and outside the ring in life. I wouldn't be here without Adam Booth. That's 100% fact.
I mean, even with a couple of months still to go, Andy, there is a fantastic buzz around here already. On the night, is it going to be part of your task to calm yourself down, almost to shut yourself out of the atmosphere?
That'll be, and that's the big, everything else about this fight is totally normal for me. Billy Joe's a very good fighter, he's undefeated, but I've been faced that so many times before. What makes this fight special and unusual is this situation where it's at and the people that are going to be here, and that's what I'm going to have to deal with. That's as much as the fight, maybe not as much as the fight, but that is a big thing that I'm going to have to deal with, the event and the occasion.
Listen, it's great. Me and Steve here are loving this Limerick air. We're loving our first. Now, one thing you can do for us, I call it Thomond Park. Am I right? Or you better give us the definitive pronunciation.
Thomond, with a TH, with the T pronounced, so Thomond. Because, well, if you're from England, you're going to say Thomond.
No, I didn't. I always gave it.
That's the way to go. Yeah.
Thomond's the way to go, and we look forward to Thomond Park, September the 19th. Cheers, Andy. Thank you very much indeed. And we're going to get George. You're going to come straight in here now, I think, George. Welcome. And what a buzz around this place, almost from the moment that we arrived here. And it certainly affected Billy Joe, didn't it? He took an instant liking to the place.
Well, I mean, we've been very well received so far, and I think that's a testament to Bill as a character. He's a very popular guy in the UK, and I'm sure, there's obviously a partisan ground here. I'm sure they want Andy to do the business on the night, but, Bill, if he can do it, I'm sure the fans will give him a cheer at the end.
How big a risk is a stadium fight? And I'm obviously thinking of the weather, and the fellow from here, John, said the rain would come in sideways that night.
We managed to make it work. I think, what was it, in our first year with BoxNation back in, and obviously Adam involved in that night, H. Azora, it hammered it down that night. It was still a great night, and if it rains, it rains. Listen, let's just hope everyone brings their umbrellas just in case.
And the two fighters, again, compared to one or two other ones that we've had on BoxNation, there is enormous respect between these two. Even as the fight gets closer and closer, I can't see too much bad-mouthing going on between those two fellas.
I don't think some fights don't need it. And for me, this has just got all the ingredients of something you want to see on the night. You know, you've got the unbeaten guy coming into the hometown of the champion. The fact that that Bill was obviously gave up his opportunity because he was obviously involved already in the Chris Eubank Jr. fight. Andy took advantage of that. He's won the title, and full credit to him for giving Bill the shot, which is what Bill's entitled to as mandatory. But no, I don't think there's bad mouthing. There's certainly no need for it. We're not expecting anything like that from either guy, and we don't think that the crowd are either. I think everyone's just hoping for an exciting fight, and I think that's what we're going to get.
And last one from me, on the ticket side of it, anybody that wants a ticket, they're not that hard to find, are they? I mean, Google up the showdown and you'll see where you can get the tickets, whether you're in Ireland or back in the UK.
Absolutely. They're available Ticketmaster for Irish fans, and you can get them through Eventim in the UK.
It's incredible. The cheapest ticket, George, is 20 quid. Was that done in mind to make it open to everyone? Not one of these events where it's going to cost the earth. Just over 20 quid, the first cheapest ticket.
Well, 20 quid, 29 euros off the top of my head.
Yeah.
So
I think it's 23,
the
23
exchange
English
rate's helping.
pounds.
Yeah.
23 English
the exchange
pounds,
rate's helping at the minute. But no, we've done it to reflect the fact that Andy and Adam were very keen to obviously pack this place out. We haven't been greedy on the ticket prices, and we're hoping that the fans are going to turn out and local fans will get behind this event. It's great to be here. It's good for Limerick, and it's obviously good for Irish boxing.
Also, Frank Warren and Queensberry Promotions, they're very big at getting home advantage for their fighters if they can. Now, obviously, it makes sense financially, but it also must say a lot about your confidence that Billy Joe can come over here and win.
Absolutely. I mean, but listen, Bill, excuse the pun, he's a travelling man. And him coming to the backyard of Andy shows it's just testament to his character. In terms of home advantage, listen, you can do all you want, but at the end of the day, it's not like he's going across to the States. He's not travelling to Germany. He's, we're going to have neutral judges on the night. He's got an hour flight from London. He'll be training in Marbella before that, so it's not like he's got to be acclimatised. So at home advantage, I'm not too concerned on that. I don't think that's going to make a difference either way to whoever comes out as the winner on the night.
And just before we go, a little warm-up for him on Friday week at Wembley, Billy's been telling us.
Yeah, I mean, a very much a warm-up fight. I don't want anyone to be expecting.
Well, I think he's pleased about that. In terms of his training, I think he doesn't want to have 4 months continuous training before this. He's pleased to see a bit of action.
Absolutely. Bill's been left frustrated by a number of things and certain parties about we were obviously trying.
I know who you mean.
Listen, the outcome is the outcome. I don't think anyone's disappointed in the fact that September 19th, Bill gets what he wants, which is the shot at the WBO Middleweight Championship.
Good stuff, George. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Good stuff. And the guests keep on coming, and I think Adam Booth is going to slide in here and go live with us on BoxNation.com. Very good entrance, very good entrance. And what a lovely scene you've got here. And this was a lovely pot boiler for September the 19th for the showdown.
Yeah, it's a classy event, and it's the World Championship, and what you have is a genuine fight, and a genuine fair fight as well. Like George just said, everything is straight down the middle, mutually agreed, so there'll be no biased judges. The only advantage will be that Andy Lee's fighting in Limerick, but after this journey he's had, he deserves this. He deserves this fight. He deserves this occasion, and Billy Joe deserves his title shot.
You were picking your words very, very cautiously up there, understandably so. But others have suggested that Andy might just have the advantage when it comes to pure power.
Power's one element in a fight, and it only means something if you can land it. But also, power's only relevant compared to the other man's ability to absorb or not absorb power. You can't just rely on one punch, and Andy's so much more than just a puncher. Like I said, I disagree with the general consensus of the scoring of a couple of the fights from the past, but that's fine. If people want to underestimate Andy, they've been doing that now for the past year and a half, and they've ended up on their arse because of it. So I'm very confident. I'm very aware of the risk and the threat that Billy Joe poses to Andy's position as world champion. We're not foolish. I've seen him in the gym as well take care of some really decent fighters. So I know what Billy Joe brings to the table. But I'll be walking to that ring with Andy that night confident.
Can you give us some indication of the way you believe that he has come on as a fighter in recent years? So we worked on things obviously technically in the gym and physiologically as well, but it's the emotional understanding of what he does in certain positions now. Whereas I felt that in the past, when he was boxing long, he'd use up a lot of energy because he'd be so concerned about being close. But if you look at the shots he's been landing recently to get rid of people, they've been up close. Because now emotionally, he's so comfortable being up close, he's releasing his power from that position. And being able to control your emotions in every position in a ring is a big weapon. And just one more from me before Steve has a chat to you. Interesting that you're going to go and train in Surrey. You're going to come away from there and come here a few days before the fight. Is that a conscious thing to get Andy away from all the hoo-ha here, let's call it that?
No, that's where I live. And when Andy's training for fights, he lives with me in my house, with my family. And this just goes back to what we were doing last year for the Jackson fight and for part of the Korobov preparation as well. So for us, it's the norm.
Just said that he lives in your house in Surrey with your wife and children.
And me.
And of course, yeah, with you. Of course, yeah, you're and you, yeah, of course. Does that say a lot about the bond you've got? Because I've never known you have fighters move in your house before.
No, well, no. David Hay, years ago, David Hay and I shared a house, and then we both lived next door to each other in Cyprus. So it's not. I do get quite emotionally invested and with the fighters that I work with because we become very close, and it's really the way that I've found that I can work best with someone if we understand each other and we become friends out the ring, because we have to spend a lot of time together, and I'm a firm believer that the more a coach understands the fighter that he's working with as a man, the more that you can steer and guide him when on fight night you're the jockey. You're not a coach come fight night, you're more of a jockey, and I always use that analogy. And with Andy, he's such a classy guy with so much to say about boxing, and everywhere else, whether we're watching films or just talking usual ball, he's got a lot to say, and we enjoy our time together as well.
So what's your house like at night? Is it just boxing talk all the time? Does the wife and kids just lock themselves upstairs?
You'll be surprised. The boxing talk really doesn't happen that much in the house. No.
Yeah. You've had some great nights with David, George, even go back to the amateur days you've had when you train amateur fighters that mean the world to you still. What will it mean to you that night? 30,000 Irishmen screaming for your fighter, and he defends his title here successfully. What would that mean to you?
When I think about the position that Andy's career was in, even 18 months ago, let alone 3 years ago, if I look at what his position was, not just as a fighter and with his fighting career, but also contractually, and what he was able to try and control and achieve in his career, he was really in no man's land. And we had a conversation last January where we sat in my kitchen, we said, move in. Let's do this 100%. We'll give it everything we've got, but if nothing moves, just walk away and enjoy your life. We agreed that, and then since then he's beaten Jackson, Korobov, and he had that fight with Peter Quillen. And we're now in a position where we can promote his homecoming title defence in Thomond Park, and I think that that's about as satisfying as it can get. So hopefully I can just enjoy the rest of his career.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. And I say we can't wait to get back here in September, and we'll see at the press conference as well next Monday in London, I believe. Good stuff. Cheers, Adam.
Thanks for your time.
Okay, Steve, we can put the seal on it now, and I mean, if this buzz continues over the next couple of months, but it's going to be more than a boxing match. This one, it's going to be a proper sporting event.
It is. You've seen that today, the way they've all conducted themselves. In the 3 interviews there wasn't a bad word about anything. There's been one little thing written that Andy's been upset with. He made sure he corrected that in front of Billy Joe. That showed what a sporting event it's going to be. And those interviews were fantastic. All three of them spoke, and George also about the event is going to be. There's not going to be any tables turned up, and you'll still get 30,000 people in and hundreds of thousands watching on BoxNation. You come here and you get the.
It is. I think we've all got. I mean, Adam said it up there in the press conference, didn't he? About how excited he was about the whole event. The bookmakers can hardly split them either. I think that Andy is just about a very narrow favourite. So I don't think there's any point in us speculating about who might come out on top on the night, is there?
I've looked at the fight. You can make strong cases for both men. What happened? Billy Joe could be a long way ahead after 10 rounds, and suddenly that right hand comes in, and Andy's equal, levels it out. Andy might not be as fresh as Billy Joe,
Yeah.
given the hard fight state. There is so many different scenarios to this fight that anyone who picks this with any confidence, gives tips with any confidence, give them a medal now.
Cheers, Steve. Thank you very much indeed.
Pleasure,
and
Jim.
make sure you hand that tie back before
The
you
lady
go.
has given it to me. She
I
said
think
I
it's a
can
very,
keep it.
it's a very classy garment. That very classy garment.
All the way back to
indeed.
Manchester this evening.
Yeah, absolutely right. Let me just remind then, live and exclusive on BoxNation on September the 19th, and tickets for the Irish public right, ticketmaster.ie/showdown. UK fight fans get those tickets through Eventim, and the London press conference to be held next Monday. That is it from all of us at Thomond Park. Thank you very much indeed for your company on BoxNation.com. Whatever you do, don't miss this one. Bye-bye.